I've heard from a lot of people the last couple of weeks, and let me tell you, I felt stuck as a writer once too. I wanted to tell better stories, longer stories, get paid more, north of $100,000 a year to write those stories. I just didn't know how. And then I learned something. I learned about the secrets of story, the internal mechanism of why great stories endure. And these secrets, they've led me to write for The New Yorker, The Atlantic, GQ. These secrets have allowed me to edit Pulitzer Prize winners, best-selling authors, MacArthur Genius Grant recipients. What I understand now about story is why my first book was a #1 bestseller on Amazon, and why a story of mine won the Best Director Prize at the Sundance Film Festival in January. What I've learned about why great stories endure, it's what allowed my second book to be optioned for a movie and for the New York Times to call it, quote, magnificent edge of your seat drama. What I learn about writing is what I teach other writers who've landed in dream publications, thanks to what we've learned together. And those writers, they've inked their own book deals now for north of $250,000. What I've learned, what my students have learned about the secrets of story, it's what I want you to learn now too. How those secrets transformed my life and my students will also transform yours, especially when you know why great stories endure, because you can tell any kind of story you want. You can have the career you dream about. Once you understand the true tenets of story, you can quit worrying about the instability of the media industry, the publications rising and just as quickly crumbling, the staff reductions. Because once you understand the secrets of story, which is why great stories work, you can always find work. Story is eternal. The public will always seek it. Once you know how to tell a great story, well, you can have a great and thriving career and a great and thriving life. And that's what this video is about, helping you not only transform the sort of stories you tell, but transform your life. Now, you may think, how can you say that when the media industry is full of staff reductions and shuttered publications and fierce competition for few jobs? Well, I can say that because I was once asking those same questions myself, and not very long ago either. I mean, I was fearful of my future and fearful of the future of as a long form storyteller. In fact, I saw no reason to continue to be a writer. So it was 2009, and it was the bottom of the Great Recession. My wife, Sonia, 9 months pregnant, had just lost her job at the Boston Globe. I just watched as half the staff at Boston Magazine, where I then work, got laid off. I had survived, but I had to take a 20% pay cut. The media industry was in free fall. There was constant chatter about how the long form storytelling I loved to do and had wanted to do all my life wouldn't work with the rise of broadband and video and mobile phones. So I was terrified. How would we pay the bills with just one income? And how could the one thing I loved, telling stories in magazines and for newspapers and news sites, how could that be a viable future? I didn't see a viable future. I saw no reason to continue to be a writer. So I interviewed at advertising shops and PR firms. One advertising firm was prepared to offer me a 45% more money than what I was making. The ad agency said the job was mine if I wanted it. Now this was on a Friday. The agency would just need its answer by Monday. So, what would you do? How would you respond? I thought the responsible thing to do, the only thing really, was to take the job. I mean, my family needed money, and maybe even more than that, the promise of a future in a secure industry. Over that weekend, I was this close to leaving the one thing I'd ever wanted to do, to write long form stories for a living, when my wife and I, on that Sunday afternoon, we went to a Barnes and Noble. We were just passing time, frankly, until Monday morning came and I could call the ad agency to say I accept. So looking at titles at the bookstore, I saw a stand near the front, a stand for bestsellers and staff favorites. And I saw something else there too. The Iliad by Homer. A story that dated back to 725 BC when stories were told in the oral tradition. And there it was 2,700 years later on a staff's favorite shelf at a Barnes and Noble. Now, what conclusion would you draw about the Iliad being there? For me, it was that the Iliad had endured. The medium had changed multiple times and millennia had passed, but the story had endured. What I realized that day at that bookstore in Boston was that storytelling was eternal. I was suddenly so very curious. What was it that made the best stories eternal? So I decided to stay at my job at Boston Magazine, in part because I decided to do something even more consequential. I decided I had to learn everything I could about how to craft stories that endure. Now, I'd gone to college. I'd majored in journalism, even. I'd geeked out on the writing of Gay Talese and Joan Didion and Richard Ben Kramer. But my nerding out on those writers had been just really a way for me to look at the sentences they crafted. After that Sunday at the Barnes and Noble, I realized I needed to understand stories better than I had in college, even better than I had in the first 7 years of my career. I needed to understand what is the internal mechanism, the secrets that allow great stories to endure. So all that led to years of studying books and magazine pieces and me annotating those works and writing notes to self and having conversations with friends and peers and writing heroes of mine. And all that led to, well, it led to a couple things, to be honest. It led to better work, freelance pieces in, again, the New Yorker and the Atlantic and blah, blah, blah. It also led to a staff writing and editing position at ESPN, the magazine, where I was part of a small team that won a National Magazine Award for General Excellence. What I learned about why great stories endured was the reason my first book was optioned by DreamWorks and why the New York Times called it a chilling and powerful and said it added up to all night reading. But really, with all that studying and questioning of why great stories endure, really what it led to is this: an internal transformation that was even greater than the wisdom I gained about stories. It was a confidence I developed to be able to execute on stories. Because I had learned their internal mechanisms, their secrets, that's what I want to offer you today: your own internal transformation. Now, a big comment I get is, your career isn't mine. And so any success you've had doesn't mean I'll have it. I'd say my success is also my former students. I've already mentioned some of them, the success they've had in getting in dream publications like the New Republic or landing book deals with HarperCollins for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But there are more stories too. In my course on long form storytelling and why great stories endure, we've had New York Times bestselling authors and Pulitzer winning feature writers and emerging writers and storytellers brand new to long form. They've all taken the course. One of my former students, Brendan Burris, said, Paul blew away my expectations, resharpened my career focus I'd lost, and provided new tools to approach my craft day to day. I'd recommend this course to anyone tired of making excuses about their creative pursuits and serious about learning how to fit them into the context of their busy lives. Now, in the years since he wrote that, Brendan has landed stories in ever bigger publications like Vanity Fair. The New York Times bestselling author who took our course, Sarah Hepola, said she felt enriched and also inspired. And she felt that the instruction gave her a, quote, nice jolt of confidence. She's since seen one of her essays nominated for a national magazine award, and she said that taking the course helped her gain that nomination. A writer brand new to long form, Tim Brown, has sent me numerous emails over the years, updating me on his progress. All the stories he's now selling to various publications. Sold another one. Thanks for your mentorship and encouragement, he writes. That material, all of it, is part of a digital course I'm offering starting today, The Storytelling You. We call it The Storytelling You because it's a chance for you to become the writer you long to be, to earn a very healthy six-figure income, to land in dream publications, to have your stories optioned by Hollywood studios, and to turn your stories into best-selling books. Now, because this iteration of The Storytelling You is an expansion of what we've offered before, the window for enrollment is going to be open for only a limited time. We want to get this course rolling. I want to see it change your life. So the registration period for it is going to be short. Since you're watching this video, either you're someone who wants to find stability and success in the unstable world of long-form storytelling, or you want to move beyond that stability and that first modicum of success and really, really thrive as a long-form storyteller. Either way, The Storytelling You will help you get better assignments, earn more money, and transform your career and life. Yeah, I'm teaching from experience here. The lessons I'll relay have shaped my life just as surely as they'll reshape yours. So first off, when you join the Storytelling you get over 60 lessons. I've broken these lessons into 8 modules where I walk you through every single step of the storytelling process, from how to find a great story, to how to pitch it to dream publications, to how to report that story, to how to structure it, to how to write it, to how to deal with the edits, and then how to do it again in a media environment where all long form storytellers are asked to be ever more entrepreneurial. The Storytelling You is not just the result of my 2 decades of experience. No, I
Well, I'm
also
joined today
sprinkle in
by
the
the great.
lessons and insights of the National Magazine Award winners, the Pulitzer Prize winners, and the best selling authors I've been
You may
lucky
have.
enough to edit and work
I've talked
with
about
over
this a
the
couple
years.
times in the
I
closing.
created the sort of course I wanted to take myself, the sort of course I couldn't find anywhere, not in college curriculum, not in other digital online offerings. Because again, it's not just my experience. I'm pulling the best snippets of expertise from others, some of them giants in storytelling with whom I've been fortunate enough to work. So once you've completed the Storytelling you'll still have access to it so you can return to the material at your leisure. And honestly, I think that quite a few of these lessons, you're going to want to watch them again just because there's so much material that's so helpful, so practical to your ongoing career. You know, if you struggle with starting that career or don't have the time to advance your writing beyond what you're doing already, you'll learn the mindset reframes you need to get going and how to fit your writing dreams and ambitions into your existing day. If you struggle with writing, say, great pitches that get approved in great publications, you'll learn how to pitch a dream publication based on the pitches my former students and I got approved in our dream publications. If you struggle with getting interview subjects to talk
So
to
we're
you and to
back,
open up to
and
you,
same sort of
you'll
scenario as
learn how
last
to
time.
interview
Exact same segment as last
introverts,
time.
extroverts, alpha types,
Pivoting.
beta
So
types.
Sonia,
You'll learn how to ask the right sort of questions and when to ask them. If you struggle with structuring your stories and organizing your material, we've got a whole module that's just on
to
how to
start the
structure
module, our
pieces, the
first lesson is
theories and
all about the
practicalities of
7
stories
types of
and
story
story structure.
archetypes.
If you struggle with writing sentences that sound rhythmic, that transcend the prosaic, we've got another whole module that's just on how to write a great story paragraph by paragraph and line by line. That module isn't a cookie cutter formula either, but some of the best insights from some of the greatest writers I've read. If you struggle to remain confident in the face of so much bad news about long form storytelling and the future of media, we've got a whole module, again, a whole module on the future of
And now the
storytelling and
pieces
how
fall
you
from the
can
world.
thrive in a media environment
What to
that
do next,
may
right? Well,
seem
in some
scary
sense,
as hell
this
right now,
last module is
but is
the most
actually
important.
brimming with possibilities once you understand story. We teach how to switch your mindset about what's possible for your own future and career. The bottom line is this: we're going to cover so much ground in the Storytelling You. And at the end of your time, you're going to have a true understanding of all the secrets of story, why and how the best stories work, and you'll be able to take that knowledge and apply it to your work and change your life. And because I want you to move beyond what you'll learn and begin to apply this knowledge, I'm going to not only give you the 8 modules of the Storytelling You, but I'm going to pop in myself. Every 2 weeks, I'll be around in a group chat session over Zoom to answer the questions you and other students have about the things we're discussing. Now, these sessions will go deep on the underlying course material and I'll be reviewing your progress along the way because there will be various prompts in the Storytelling You where you'll be asked to write something or carry out a mock interview. We'll discuss and debate and critique all that stuff too. In addition to the group sessions, this iteration of the Storytelling You will also feature live one-on-one work with every single student. Now, this one-on-one work will take place over Zoom or email. It'll be your preference and answer your most pressing questions about the course as you proceed through it and solve your most pressing problems about storytelling. Every student will have up to 3 hours of sessions for signing up with me one-on-one for the Storytelling You. So by now you're probably thinking, this is a pretty good offer, but I thought a lot about how I could make it better still. So I decided to throw in a bonus: how to write a book. The books I've authored or ghostwritten have brought me over $1 million in revenue over the last 5 years. And when I ultimately release the course on book writing to the public, because I haven't done it yet, but when I do release it to the public as a standalone course, I'm going to price that course at $3,000. You, meanwhile, for enrolling in the Storytelling U right now, you'll be getting this bonus on book writing, an entire module dedicated to every facet of book writing and how to do it for free. So, if you consider the one-on-one work I do with clients runs to $500 an hour, and if you consider that you'll have up to 15 hours of that level of instruction from me in our Ask Me Anything group sessions and our one-on-one calls, that means the value of those sessions is $7,500. And if you consider that you're getting another bonus as well within the Storytelling U, the bonus module on book writing, which will retail for $3,000 when I formally debut it, now we're getting to a value for the Storytelling U of $10,500 in total. But then there's the qualitative insights from my career to consider. As someone who's written best-selling books and written for leading publications, who's had his work optioned by Hollywood studios and made into movies, who's been part of a group that won a national magazine award, we also have to consider the qualitative insights of the Pulitzer Prize winners, the MacArthur Genius Grant winners, the best-selling authors with whom I've worked, and with whom their insights are included in this course. There's a way to put a value on all that. Universities and MFA programs do it all the time. Now, I'm not going to say my course is equal in value to a 4-year degree or an MFA program, but my former students will say that. One of those former students was a senior at the University of Texas named Joe Levin. Joe took an early iteration of the Storytelling U, and he's since gone on to write for Texas Monthly, and he's a staff writer at Religion of Sports, the Substack newsletter founded by Tom Brady. So taking the Storytelling U has really benefited him. In fact, even more than his 4-year degree. Here's what Joe said. I'd 100% say that Paul's course was more applicable, helpful, and inspiring than every J-School class I've taken. A 4-year degree at the University of Texas retails for $58,516 right now, and that's for in-state students. Joe was an out-of-state student. Now, another guy who took the Storytelling U was J. Brian Charles. He's a magazine writer and editor and investigative reporter who got his MFA a while back. Here's what Brian said when he finished the Storytelling U. Absolutely loved the course. It was wonderful. It's on par with anything I took during my MFA. On par with anything I took during my MFA. Now, an MFA in journalism from Columbia will currently cost you $126,691, and that's if you complete it in 9 months. Most MFAs take 2 years and cost nearly $200,000. So Joe said my course had a greater value than anything he took at the University of Texas. Brian said my course was on par with his MFA. So if you take the Ask Me Anything bonus you'll get, the one-on-one bonus, the book writing bonus you'll get, and just how much past students have valued and praised the course, the Storytelling U has an estimated value, by the most conservative of estimates, of around $80,000. By now you're surely wondering, well, what's the cost of the Storytelling U? Your investment in the Storytelling U is literally a fraction of that. It's $2,497. And because I remember what it feels like to be a hungry storyteller whose ambition is sometimes larger than their bank account, we're going to do something else. We're going to offer payment plans right up front. You can pay for the course across 5 full months, which means you'll get access to the course right now for $499. And because I'm so confident of what you'll learn and how applicable it'll be to your career, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to offer a guarantee. I guarantee you will make at least $5,000 from what you learn in the course. And to back up that guarantee, my team and I will continue to work with you until you make it back by email messaging, by chats, and by one-on-one calls. That's right. You will double your money for investing in this course. And to prove it, I'll work with you until it happens. If past students are any indication, it will not take long for you to double what you make for investing in the course. Remember, if you want to transform your storytelling and more importantly, transform your life, and all without toiling for years in the trenches of poorly paying newsrooms or spending tens of thousands of dollars on some mid-career residency or hundreds of thousands of dollars on grad school, then you need to take the Storytelling You. You need to quit thinking about your dreams and take action toward them. So go ahead and click the button below and join me in the Storytelling You. One last thing I need to mention. This is a limited time offer. Enrollment for the Storytelling You is just going to be open for 5 days, and then we're going to close it down because we need to start the class. I'm keen to start this class and help more storytellers. So if you want to get in, you need to act quickly. Also, based on the value of the Storytelling You, the next time we offer the course, it will be at a higher price point, much more than its current offer. So this is another reason to act while you can. The price for the Storytelling You will be going up in the future. In fact, it's only gone up every time we've offered it. If you're ready to change your understanding of storytelling and change your life, then your next step is to click the button below and get registered for the Storytelling You. One last thing. I'm not some storytelling magician. I just found underlying truths about stories and why they work almost 15 years ago. And so more than a decade of study and work and analysis and testing has gone into the Storytelling You. The result, it isn't a cookie cutter formula, but a broader method for understanding and executing on stories. You'll take my decades of knowledge and have it for yourself in a matter of days, just days. And then you can apply that over and over across weeks and months and years, just like it's been applied over and over by my former students. That's why I stand by the Storytelling You. That's why I stand by its double your investment guarantee. Why I say you will make at least $5,000 from taking this course. That's why former students rave about it. Now is your time. There has never been a better time, in fact, but you have to act. You have to act before enrollment closes. So enroll in the Storytelling You and say yes to understanding the secrets of story and unlocking your future as a long-form storyteller. One last thing, if you're watching to this point and you're coming to me via Jason Pfeiffer, who's a longtime friend of mine, I'm going to make you a further deal. I'm going to give you $500 off the purchase price, and you'll still get access to everything in the course. That's right. I'll give you the Storytelling You for $19.99 or 5 payments of just $3.99 a month, just because Jason Pfeiffer is a longtime friend of mine. Others pay full freight for this course, but you won't have to. And you still get all the other benefits of the course too. The group chats, the one-on-one calls with me, the bonus course on book writing. You're going to get all that and the guarantee that I'll work with you until you make back double your investment in the course. Everyone else has to pay $2,500 or $4.99 a month for 5 months to get all of that, but you won't have to. You'll get access to everything the course has to offer for just $2,000, just $3.99 a month for 5 months. And again, all because Pfeiffer and I have been friends forever. Just enter the coupon code below at the checkout aisle. Sign up now for the Storytelling You. It's the only way to get the super deal, the special deal, that's just for Jason Pfeiffer's subscribers.